Played the #1 team on the country, a very, very talented team, a team that knows how to win. We had opportunities in that game to be up at least 10-0 on the road, and we just didn't take advantage of the opportunities that we had. And when you do that against a real talented team on the road, you're gonna have a hard time. So to me, that's the reality of it. I thought there was a point there in the game where they made some plays and we got tentative, which is not who we've been. We've been an aggressive team, so we need to be aggressive. We need to be aggressive in the way we play. We need to be aggressive in the way we coach and call the game. We need to be aggressive, and we didn't do that consistently on Saturday. So give them credit. Good football team, but we got to take advantage of opportunities when they come. And then I think the other thing that's been a storyline now for a year and a half that we got to get changed is field position. Punting has been a real challenge for us now for a year and a half. I've already talked to you guys about some of the challenges that we have with that. The thing that we have to find a way to work through is in practice we've been pretty darn good. We track every punt. Daniel Pasquarello's got a really strong leg and can really bang it in practice. Gula is probably a little bit more consistent, but has not been able to get the long punts that Daniel has had. But they both have done a good job in practice, and for whatever reason, it's not transferring to the games. That's something we spent a lot of time talking about this morning. We got to do a better job there. Last year, I think you could have made some arguments that was based on pressure. There was some times against Rutgers and people like that where we got pressure on the punter. That's not the case anymore. Really people have stopped rushing us, and we've had time. So we got to do a better job of that, and we have a lot of discussions about how we can work through that and get better and help those guys as much as we possibly can. So we got a plan for this week. That's going to be a real challenge, obviously, with Lockley, who's a very, very talented, explosive returner, and has had a huge impact this season for them, especially early in the season. So.
Good. James, you said, you talked a little bit about the need to be not as tentative, maybe be a little bit more aggressive. How did you think Christian managed the game against Ohio State? I'm talking about, you had some issues on 3rd down, obviously, and then 4th down there were a couple of sacks. How did you feel he played, and does that aggressive nature, did that show up, you think, on 3rd, 4th down?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of everything. I think obviously there's some things and some plays that he'd like to have back and we'd like to have back. I think there's also, a part of it we got to make plays for him. I think that's going to be really important as well. Guys making plays for him. I think that's important. But there's no doubt there's plays that he'd like to have back and we'd like to have back in that game where we thought we had some opportunities and felt like we could have made some plays. I do think the push that they got on our tackles into our quarterback's face at times had a factor. And then obviously our guards, not consistently winning their battles. And then when we had chances to make some plays, we didn't make the plays. So I think it's a combination of all those things. I have a part in it. The coaching staff has a part. Christian has a part. And the players have a part in all of us together.
You spoke a little bit about Mike Lockley. How do you think he's going to approach this week, and how do you approach playing a team under a new head coach in this season that had a week off?
Yeah, it's hard for me, obviously, to speak on that, but, to me, one of the things that we're talking about as a staff is we have to be prepared for the onside kick like Indiana did. We have to be prepared for the fake punts. We have to be prepared for the double passes, and we have to be prepared. They got an opportunity, to play Penn State and obviously get a win that's really important to them. And I could see them doing whatever they have to do to get it. So taking some calculated risks, doing some things like that. And we just need to make sure that again, we're not chasing ghosts, but that we're prepared for those things that they may do to maybe gain a possession or gain 2 possessions, create some momentum and things like that. So fake punts, onside kicks, trick plays on offense, shot plays. Obviously, they're a mobile quarterback. They're going to look at some of the things that Ohio State did last week. and we need to be prepared for them. They've kind of settled down on a quarterback now, and he's mobile. Pennsylvania kid, from what I understand, from Pittsburgh Central Catholic. One of the more interesting backgrounds. You don't typically see a starting quarterback in the Big Ten who was also a two-time state champion wrestler. If I'm correct on that, that's kind of a unique combination. But I could just see them coming in and being really aggressive and taking some calculated risks.
Just curious, your comments about Pat Narduzzi, your reaction to Pat Narduzzi's comments yesterday, and also how you feel about the occasional back and forth between Penn State and Pitt coaches with some public comments over the last year or so.
Just so you know, I really enjoy your questions every week. I mean, yeah, good. Well, first of all, I don't want to read into anything. There's been comments and things that I've said in the past that people have read into. So I'm not going to read into anything. Happy for them and the success that they've had, but my focus is on Penn State completely, 100%. But yeah, I think it's great. There's a lot of good football being played in this state with Temple and Pitt and Villanova and Penn and East Stroudsburg. A lot of good football being played, and I'm happy for all of them. But I'm not going to read into anything else.
Do you like that back and forth though? I mean, it is something that's kind of taking place.
No, I don't like back and forth. Me and Herb Hand had a conversation a few months ago to stop that. I think there's been other times and other things that have happened that people have read into things that were not there, looking to try to get hits on websites or try to create some drama that was never really there. But yeah, no, I've said this before. I got tremendous respect for all the universities in this state. And is this a competitive business? Yeah, no doubt about it. But I'm focused on Penn State.
James, a couple days later, do you second guess at all your decision to leave Christian in late in that game, given how banged up he appeared to be? There's been a lot of media criticism of Bankrus and that sort of thing over it.
Yeah, I think obviously we could have put Trace in. I think you guys are going to see that over time that our staff and our players and me specifically are really competitive, and I think it's hard to put your backups in the game before the game is over. It's almost like waving a white flag, and that's not kind of who I am or who we will be. We're going to fight to the last play of the game. Is there a fine line in that? Yeah. But when you ask our doctors and trainers and they say everything is good, and we ask the young man and he says everything is good, there's been a lot of times where we've had guys that have had bumps or bruises or sprains or whatever it is that have played. Could we have put Trace in that situation? Yeah, but what I'm telling you is just as a competitor, it's hard to say I'm going to put the backups at this point in the game and wave the white flag. That's not kind of who I am or ever really will be. But I also get what people are saying, and I understand why you bring it up.
James,